Well, hi and welcome. Today I have a totally different video for you guys. I have a video, and I want to do this video specifically because of something that happened to me very recently, and changes have been going on through my financials because of experiences that I have been having. And so, with that said, I'm going to talk to you today about a very specific topic, a topic that you don't see very many videos about, and it has to do with banking. So, very recently, last week, I had a very uh, ugly experience, but I'm going to start this particular story with what led me to this particular bad experience because I used to bank with a bank that is very well known throughout I mean the Americas the and practically I'm almost in the world. I don't know how much this bank is in other parts of the world, but I know that it is very popular here in America, and it's supposed to be one of the strongest banks. And I'm talking about this bank. Guys, this is Bank of America. All right. This particular bank, you can see here, I have two accounts. I should say I had two accounts. I had the blue one is a business, and this one is a personal. I had a business and a personal account. But something happened to me about 10 months ago that I had to make a decision, and a lot of things were happening with this particular bank that led me to make this specific decision. And let me explain to you, first of all, the story and what happened. About 10 months ago, I was in Miami. I was actually having a night out, all right, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning where I had to pay for the bill, and the bill was somewhere like around $400 for something, right, four and change, and I went to pay for my bill, so I give him my personal account. I didn't have my business account with me. I just had my personal card with me, and needless to say, my account was locked. It wasn't locked because you can lock your accounts manually, on your apps and stuff like that. No, it was locked because they had what is called they had some fraudulent activity, suspected fraudulent activity, and when any bank has a suspected fraudulent activity, they lock the accounts. Well, at 2 o'clock in the morning, I could not get a hold of somebody in the bank, and they called the police on me and everything. I showed them on the app that I did have money. That didn't do actually any good. They were going to take me to jail if I didn't pay, and so basically I had to call around until I found somebody that was able to come in and literally voucher me, pay for my bill until the morning. This was on a Saturday, and it was until Monday, right? That I had to go to the bank and actually find somebody to unlock the cards. All right, and actually, I think I did it on Sunday. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, and I think I did it over the phone. I can't remember exactly how I did it, but anyways, the next day I paid the guy. All right, it wasn't a big issue. All right, but the thing about it was that the cars were locked, my accounts were locked, and I could not find anybody to. I could not reach anybody. The offices were closed. All right, and so one thing led to another. Then I started seeing that every time that I would call support on a bank that's supposed to be one of the biggest banks of the world, I was actually waiting, an hour and a half, just to try to resolve something that was really simple. They made it really hard. You would go into the bank. I would go into the bank, into this particular bank, and if I didn't have an appointment, I had to wait almost an hour also to find a spot so that somebody could help me. That was a terrible experience. It was a terrible experience with this bank, all right, with this particular bank, all right, the Bank of America. And so, with this experience, after I had this terrible experience, I decided to open up a different, with different banks, all right, a different account. And also I learned something. I learned that you can't just have one bank, because if your card isn't working in that one bank for whatever reason, it is locked, or you can't get a hold of somebody, you need to have some sort of a backup, right? Okay, so needless to say, right? Needless to say, I went out and I opened up an account, another account. I opened it up with a bank that was their competitor, and and it was supposed to be much better. Okay, and I think it is in many ways. I think the bank is much better. So I opened up an account with Chase, as you can see here. This account is still active. Okay, this Chase account is still active. The problem with the Chase account, okay, that I have here is that this Chase account is the account that I use, and I use it specifically to do online transactions. And when I do online transactions, because I learned from this experience, right, is that when you're doing online transactions, if the money is there, regardless of whether you actually approve the transaction or not, they take the money out of your account. Let me explain to you. I was with Planet Fitness. I canceled my Planet Fitness account. Right? I didn't want to go to Planet Fitness no more. Well, I was here. Now, even though I canceled it, right, every single month, I was still being deducted the Planet Fitness uh, monthly fee, even after I had canceled it. And so, even though I could lock my cards, right, because it was done through what is called ACH. In other words, it was done directly through the account. It didn't stop them from billing my account. And so, in order to control all these money hungry companies that make it really hard for you to cancel, right? Because they're all about the money, and they don't care about how easy, they don't want to make it easy for you to be able to unsubscribe or to cancel an account. I decided to use this particular bank, which is really easy to use, right? I decided to use it only for online transactions. So on this account right here, I keep $0. All right. The only thing that I do on this account is, like, for example, let's say if I'm going to go to Walmart and buy something online in Walmart, right? And that item costs $200, I will go in and I will deposit $200 onto this account. I will actually purchase, all right, the Walmart item. And then once it is purchased, the account is back down to zero money. So nobody else can take my money away because it has no money. It's only used for online transactions. So originally, I had my retirement check, okay, on this particular bank. But then I found a bank that gave me a great promise. And the promise of this bank was that, if you move your social security deposit to this particular bank, you could get it a few days earlier. My deposit comes the second Wednesday of every month, but because it is on this particular bank, it will come 3 days, 5 days, 7 days earlier. Depends, right? It fluctuates, but it's usually about 3 or 4 days, prior. And it has a lot of benefits for senior citizens. I'm retired. I am a senior citizen, and the bank that I'm talking about is this one here. This is called the Charlie. Okay, the Charlie bank. This particular card is not good. It's not reading the bar in the back. I still haven't received the one that I need. But anyways, the whole idea, the whole concept, right, is that it is actually the monies are actually deposited earlier, and they have a lot of perks. Okay, a lot of perks for senior citizens. The problem is this is an online bank, and this online bank has a lot of drawbacks which is not told by the bank itself. Number one, it doesn't have Zelle. It doesn't have a way to transfer money in. If you it does there's no physical banks, all right? So if you want to withdraw money, you have to go to an ATM on a Walgreens or a CVS. They don't charge you a fee if you go to an ATM on a CVS or a Walgreens. That is a uh, something points something, I don't know what it's called. uh All access point, I think it's called. All right. ATM. They don't charge you at all to withdraw or to do a transaction through those ATM machines. It doesn't have Zelle. It doesn't operate like a regular bank. All right, and there's a huge difference between this bank and this bank. So now let me explain to you what happened to me about a week ago, so that we all can learn from this experience, and so that maybe you understand the differences and how essentially important it is to know what your bank can do and what it cannot do. This particular bank, let's go back about a week. Okay, about a week ago, right? I called several friends of mine on in a group that we have, right? And I had a friend of mine, bless her heart, Sly. She told me, "Hey, why don't you do a uh, paycheck advance, right? And which is available at companies like Amscot, Ace, and all that stuff, right?" So I go, "Oh well, I didn't know you could do that, right?" And I've heard about it, but I didn't really, know about it. And so, making a long story short, my deposits, my retirement deposits are done in this bank, right? And so, because this bank is an online bank, and because this bank does not have a physical location, right? Paycheck advance, right, was not an option. I could not use paycheck advance on this particular bank because I did not know that. Okay, this particular company does banking with a banking called Sutton, which is the same thing as Cash App, and those banks, right, are not on the accepted list, right? On the approved list of banks that can qualify you to do a pay advance. So I ended up being in a rut, okay, because what is here is not what I get here, and what is here is not available to for my access, right? And so, making a long story short, all right, I after this incident happened, right, um, I actually did what I had to do. I had to order a card because this card is not it's not reading in the back, right? So I ordered a card, and so I wasn't able to do a lot of payments, and so my friends came through, all right, and he actually backed me up until I get my new card. I still haven't received it. It takes about 3 to 4 days. Actually, he told me it's more like 4 days, from the time I call it in, and the day that you call it in doesn't count as a day. The count starts the next day, and so making a long story short, I called on Tuesday, so my count started on Wednesday, so I have to wait between 3 and 4 business days for me to get the new card. All right, so now, making this a long story short, you know, it is important, okay, for us, okay, that we are traveling. When you travel, that we look at these things, because these things are very crucial and very important. And I am learning that some of these banks that you see, although they are very big here in the United States, they're not really good banking solutions when you travel. So I've been sort of exploring different avenues, different scenarios. And one of those scenarios that I explored, which I had a very bad experience, was with a bank called Santander. Okay, Santander Bank is, I didn't read the reviews, but Jasmine told me, "Oh my God, why did you do that? That bank has terrible reviews and this and that." And so that's another story. The reason that I did it was because going to Europe, that bank is all over Europe, right? But it is not a bank, okay, that is uh, good, okay, because it is also just like this bank, right? It is almost considered like an online bank because they don't have a physical location, right? And so, um, making that whole story uh, the thing about making this video and why I'm making this video, I think that all these banks, they give you all these hyped up illusions that they are really good, and maybe they are good in certain areas and for certain things and for a certain type of person. But I've learned, okay, from this experience that banks like this here, although they offer a earlier withdrawal, you know what I'm saying? In other words, your monies are there a few days earlier. Not only that, but also there's a lot of discounts that they offer for senior citizens. It's pretty much useless. Okay, it's pretty much useless um, if you're going to need to do other things that normal banks have the ability to do, like this particular bank. This particular bank, Chase, does have all those abilities. And what I like about this particular bank, compared to this, is that you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait on this bank, on Chase Bank. I don't have to wait an hour or so to get some kind of service. They actually answer pretty quickly, within 15 minutes, 20 minutes. This bank, Bank of America, support is ridiculously practically non-existent. Okay, to be honestly truthful. All right, and so I decided to close these accounts, which I did. I closed these accounts, and I've got this is what I'm using, and I just opened a new that is not funded yet. All right, but it will be as soon as I get my new charity, which is Truist. Okay, Truist is another one. I've had it. It used to be a SunTrust, and B something like that, BNB Bank, I think. But it used to be SunTrust. Okay, so I moved my business account here. Okay, for my photography and my personal here, and they're gonna be funded once this is all set and straight. But I learned several things that I think everybody needs to learn is that number one, you can't just have one account, all right? Because if your account is locked, if your account is not accessible, if the offices are not accessible, and you're in the middle and something happens and you can't pay for your bill, right? You might end up in trouble if you don't have a backup plan. And so having this sort of a backup plan, if one doesn't work, I have two others, is great. But as far as this, although it has a lot of great benefits, um, it's going to be a no for me. I can't wait to I get my new card, and when I get my new card, I'm gonna move my retirement deposits. I'm gonna move them to one of my other banks, and these banks have physical locations. So if I have a scenario and a situation like the one that I just had this past week, I can actually do pay advance. I can do all kinds of things I can do, because they're considered much more of a brick and mortar type institution, where this is not. This is considered only an online institution, just like Cash App is. So, anyways, I hope that this is some informative. Um, Information, okay, for you if you're going to travel, if you're going to be using some of these banking institutions, so that you know which one is what, and what's actually a good solution for your particular situation, so that you don't get stuck like we did this past week. Anyway, this is Charles Richard. If you have any questions, dealing with any of these things, please hit me up in the comments, and I will give you as much information as I have, right, to help you out as best as I can. Anyways, until the next video, I say thank you, be blessed, and I'll see you. Bye bye.